Hi, and welcome to this video of Dynamics 365 Talk, where I'll be discussing how we can use Power Virtual Agents inside of Dynamics 365. Now, we all know that we can use Power Virtual Agents for external customers. Think about putting PVA on your website, using it on Facebook, right? But have you ever thought about using it internally? How great would it be if a sales rep using Dynamics 365 would have access to a chatbot directly from a form in Dynamics 365? So they could be working on an opportunity and then just ask the chatbot questions without having to search Dynamics 365 themselves. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into it, let me just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Deanne Taylor. I'm a Microsoft Business Applications MVP. Feel free to check out my blog at D365Goddess.com. Follow me on Twitter at D365Goddess, or connect with me on LinkedIn by scanning the QR code. Okay, so let's dive right in. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how it's going to work. So I basically added Power Virtual Agents to my opportunity form. So I can create an opportunity, I can open an opportunity, and then as a sales rep, I can start engaging with that Power Virtual Agent. So let's just create a new opportunity first. Here's my opportunity form. I'm just going to go ahead and put in an account, active transport. Do we have a contact? Yes, we do. Active close date. Let's just say it's the 23rd, right? And I'm going to just go ahead and save and close that opportunity. And here it is. Let's just go ahead and open that up. So here on the right-hand side, you see my sales bot. So let's say I wanted to start to ask some questions. Maybe somebody else created this opportunity for me and it got assigned to me, and I want to get a little bit more information about that account. Now, obviously, you can set up this sales bot to answer any types of questions, right? I just made it very simple. I just want to get some account information. And what I want is I want to know who the manager is for this particular active transport account. So I'm just going to type in sales. Here, I'm the sales bot. How can I help you? I want to ask a question about the account, or actually I want to know who that manager is. Again, you can have several steps in here, but you probably all know how to configure topics and using Power Automate with that. So I've already set that up. As soon as I click here on account, it's going to ask me, please enter the account name. So I'm going to say active transport, and you can see I'm not typing the entire thing, active transport Inc. I'm just going to say active transport, and it should come back with information about who owns that account, and it does. It's managed by me, the email address, and my phone number as well. Is there anything else I can help you with? And if I say yes, it basically just pivots back to the beginning. How can I help you? And then I can start asking questions about the opportunity or whatever other items I may have configured in my Power Virtual Agents. Okay, so now that we know what the end result is going to be, let me walk you through the configuration. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create that topic inside of Power Virtual Agents. You can see here that this is my sales bot, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a new topic. We can enter a title, sales topic 2, and put some trigger phrases in there. I'm going to say, I need sales help, whatever you want to put in there, right? You could put a description in there as well. So let's go to the authoring canvas there. And I started with a message that says, I am the sales bot. So let's just go ahead and type that in. And then we're going to ask a question. And that question was, how can I help you? And then obviously you can just say account, just like I did, or opportunity. Here we go. And we're just configuring this account part over here. So I'm going to say here, what is the account name, right? If they pick accounts, what is the account name? And then I'm actually going to store that here. Account name. And I'm going to get the user's entire response. And then what I want to do is I actually here want to create, I want to call an action, and that is going to be that flow that is basically going to look for that data in my Dynamics 365 instance. And that's what you see over here. I already have it, but let's go ahead and build that out. So I'm going to click on create a flow. Now you want to make sure that you actually name that flow as well, right? So that you know what it is later. So I'm going to call this PVA Get Account Manager from Bot 2. Now, this is the Power Virtual Agents template, right? That's preloaded because I actually opened Flow from Power Virtual Agents. And what this is, add an input, this is where you're going to actually capture the user input, which is coming from Power Virtual Agents, into your flow. So remember, we asked the question, what is the account name? You can actually capture that data and add that right in here. So in order to do that, we have to put a placeholder to actually be able to store that data. So we're going to click on add an input, and that's going to be text. And you can call this whatever you want. You can see here you can put in here accounts input. I can put that in here as well, or I can just leave it as input, whatever you want to do. But that's basically just going to store that information from Power Virtual Agent, and then I can use it here in my flow. Now, in the next step, I'm actually want to query CDS for that account name that was typed into Power Virtual Agent. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on here. I'm going to add an action, and I'm going to do a list records step. Now, I'm in a different environment. You can see here I'm in my bot environment, so I need to query from a different environment, not the current environment. So keep that in mind. So I actually want to go here to the Common Data Service, and I want to do list records because I'm going to connect it to that different environment. So you're just going to go ahead and pick one. And then what is the entity name? What's the entity that we're looking for? And those are accounts. Here we go. Now, obviously, I'm looking for the account with the value that they typed in here, right? This account input. So I got to do a little bit of filtering in my filter query. I'm not really good at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use XRM Toolbox. And this Fetch XML Builder is a really nice tool that you can use for that. So let me just go ahead and show you that. Now I'm just going to delete the search that I have here. Delete. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to search for an entity, and that is obviously that account entity. And I want to filter that to only show me, this is an and filter. And my condition is I only want active accounts, right? So you're going to look for the status. I think it's state code equals. We only want active accounts. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then we also want to add an additional condition where the name field begins with whatever they typed in. So I'm just going to put ABC in here, and I'm going to get rid of that later. So what you can do with this now is you can actually here click on view, and you can see here you have Power Automate parameters. So I'm going to click on that and I just load it in my different window there. You can see here, so that's what I'm going to copy over. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that, and now I copied it. So let's go back to our flow, and I'm going to type that here in, or copy that into my filter query over here. Now, again, the name ABC, obviously we don't want that. We actually want whatever they typed in to Power Virtual Agents, which is this particular input. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that, and there we go. Now we are filtering on only to show us accounts, right, that has state code equals 0 and that input. Maybe you don't even want that state code 0, but I'm just wanted to show you some additional stuff that we can do here. Now, obviously I just want one account to come back. So I'm going to type here 1. So it's going to bring me back one account. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I actually want to get the unique ID of this one account that comes out of this query. So I'm going to go ahead and do a compose. Here we go. And the reason that I'm doing this is otherwise it's actually going to do an apply to all step, and I don't want that because then I can't really configure my flow the way that I want it. Now, you probably want to do like a condition here as well, right? Where you want to check what's going to happen if there's no accounts that, you know, you're not finding any accounts. Maybe you want to have a different right message sent back to Power Virtual Agents. I'm just keeping it very, very simple here. But what I want to do here is I'm going to use an expression to get that data. But first, let me actually rename this so I understand what I'm doing. So I want to get the account over here, and then I can just go ahead and put my mouse here in the input, and then I can put my expression together. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste. You see here, I want to get the ID. I want to get out of my list records action. This is called list records, right? I want to get that account ID. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And now I have, this is going to give me my account unique ID. And I need that because I want to now be able to actually get all of the data that is stored in the fields of that particular account. And then once I get that, I want to get the full name, the email address, and the phone number of the user who owns that account record, right? And then I want to return that to Power Virtual Agent to the salesperson. So first we're going to get that account record. So I'm going to do again, add action and common data service. And then we want to get that record. So again, you're going to select your environment and then your entity name, which is again account. Here we go. And then the identifier, we just got that unique ID over here, right? Get account. There you go. Now I have my unique account. And of course, all of that related data. So I want to get to the user, to that owner record, right? So I'm going to do now another get record step right over here. Add an action. Common data service. Get record. Again, we're going to select our environment. And now this is going to be users, I believe. Yep, here's users. And then we need the item identifier. And we have that from this get record step, right? Because that's what we want to get the user from. So, oh, that's not what I want. We want the owner. But again, you got to make sure that you get this from the get record and not the list records, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get that owner. So now I have the owner of the account. All right. So now we're going to get to the return values, right? So this is where we're getting that information from the CDS, and we're going to pass that back into Power Virtual Agents so the sales user can see that. So I'm going to just add an output, and I'm going to put in the account name, because again, we said, right, somebody can put in a partial account name, right? So we want to make sure that they actually know what information we're getting them back regarding which account. Okay, so here's the account, and the value to respond is obviously account name, and we want that from that get record too. So let's see here. Oops. Name, get record 2. Here we go. Oh, sorry. This is the owner stuff. So yeah, we want the account name from that first, from the get record. Here we go. Here's our account name. Then we want to put in, add an output. We want to put in who the actual owner is. So that's coming from the get record 2, because that's our owner. So I'm going to say full name. Then I want to also add phone number from the user, right? So you can do mobile or whatever. Get record 2, is that correct? Yep, that's that contact. Let's do the mobile phone. And then you can add another output, and this is going to be the email address. So I'm going to say user email, if I can. Okay, last one. This should be email, get record 2, primary email, email 2, whatever you want to choose here. I'm going to do primary email. And that is it. Now I can just go ahead and save that flow. And again, make sure you rename that. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And there we go. So let's now go back to Power Virtual Agent so we can hook those guys up. So here we are back. Now we're going to call that action, that flow that we just created. And here it is, PVA get account manager from bot 2. So this is where we're going to set that variable, right? Which is that account name that user is typing in. So we're going to bring that in, account name. And then here is our output. So that's what we're passing back into the bot to the user. So I'm going to show a message, and I'm going to say, I'm going to pull in that account name. So I'm going to say account. Yeah, that one is account name. Okay, accounts, which is coming back here from Power Virtual Agent, is managed by space, and then I'm going to put in the owner. And I'm going to do period, email, and that is going to be user email, space, phone, space, oops. And I'm going to put in the phone over there. And then I can ask another question. Can I help you with anything else? And then again, we can just say yes or no. And if they're saying no, we're going to end the conversation with the survey. And if they're saying yes, I'm going to click here and drag this all the way over to the top and start at the beginning again. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Oops. So first I'm going to connect it to here. And then I'm going to grab the same one and connect it to here. And I'm going to grab the same one and connect it to here, slowly but surely. And I'm going to go back to, can I help you? So as you can see, if they say, is there anything else I can help you with? Yes, it just goes back here to the top. How can I help you? And it's asking about, right, what questions we're asking. So let's save our topic. Okay, so now that we have created that topic in our sales bot, now we just need to add that to our form. So I went to make.powerapps.com and I went to entities. And then I'm looking for my opportunity form. Here we go. And I want to go to forms. And I want to go here to my opportunity form. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to do that here from this new form editor. So I actually had to switch to Classic. So let's just go ahead and click on that. All right, so we are on the opportunity form. So there's two different ways that you can do this. So first I'm going to show you the simple way. I'm just going to go ahead and put in a section and then just drag that up here all the way to the top. And I'm going to insert an iframe. And you can just call this whatever you want to call this. I'm going to call it bot. Now you can see here it's asking for a URL. So let's hop back over to Power Virtual Agents and I'll show you where you can find that. So you go back to Power Virtual Agents, you click here on Publish, and then you click here on Configure Channels, go to Channels. So when you click on Custom Website, you can see here that you get that embed code. Now, the only thing I need, because you see I want to just insert an iframe, right, is this piece that's in between the double quotes. So I only need this. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and then I'm going to go back to my opportunity form, and I'm just going to copy it directly in here. And then I can just go ahead and say okay, but oh, before I do that, let's do formatting a little bit bigger, 12, and I believe you can also, yeah, no, that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And here we go. Here it is. That's what you just saw on my screen. The other way of doing it, instead of adding an iframe, you could also add a web resource. But you would need to create that web resource, obviously. Let me just go ahead and go to look up more records. And then I can create a new web resource. And you can, again, give it a name. But what you would do here is you would actually do HTML. And when you're doing HTML, let's go flip back to Power Virtual Agents again. You're actually using this whole piece and copying that in. But obviously what I showed you earlier by just having to use a URL, it's a little bit easier. I have the steps on my article as well, which the article, I will drop that in the notes as well. But that's basically all you have to do. You're just going to go ahead and save that and publish that. And then you can, as you can see here, you can just go ahead and see your sales bot directly from within the opportunity. Obviously, you can do this through different forms as well, right? If you are customer service and you want to use it there, you can do that as well. If you want to put it in a lead form as well, you can do that obviously as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button. Be sure to check back again next week for another video. Stay safe, everybody, and thanks so much for watching.